What is going on, guys? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today I wanted to talk some Breece Hall trade rumors. There was stuff circulating around yesterday, and I think it got blown out of proportion, and I just want to add a little bit more context to the conversation. So there was a speculative piece put out by ESPN that essentially was saying that if the New York Jets are out of it, they may look to trade someone like Breece Hall. Now, Bleacher Report runs with it on a graphic and puts it on social saying the Jets may trade Breece Hall, and now I got to see everyone in the comments and their shitty Breece Hall trade packages the rest of the day and into this morning. And I kind of just, again, wanted to add a little bit more to the conversation because I don't think it's that simple as the Jets are going to trade Breece Hall this year. Well, a few things have to happen first in order for the Jets to get to that point. First, you had the comments from Aaron Glenn, who said that he didn't want to trade Breece Hall and then he wants him to be their running back. And that's their plan A. And if plan A goes well, meaning if the Jets are in the mix, then I think they'll stick with it. But there's a chance that things go off. I don't personally think the Jets are going to be bottom feeders, but is there a world where that happens? Yeah, I don't think anyone predicted 5-12 a year ago. So if the Jets regress off of that, I don't know, like nothing will surprise me anymore. But again, this isn't really some wild thought process, but a few things have to happen first. The Jets by the trade deadline would have to be like 2-6 through their first 8 games. The Jets only have 8 games before the trade deadline. They have the bye week in week 9. So, other teams may have 9 games. Even if the Jets are 3-5 with how the back half of that schedule looks, at least right now on paper, I don't know if they're going to go, you know what, let's hit the nuke button on this and just kind of ride this out the rest of the way. But if they're 2-6, 1-7, 0-8, again, I don't think that's the most likely scenario. I want to stress that. Then yeah, obviously they're going to become sellers at the trade deadline. If that's how the season is going, then if that's how the season's going, and 2, it doesn't look like Breece Hall is going to be re-signed, then yeah, flip him for a day 2 pick. And that's kind of what I want. I think a second is probably optimistic for Breece Hall. 3rd round pick, I think, is when you start to consider it. At that point, that's not my plan of action. Ideally, the Jets are competitive this year and they want to retain Breece Hall and franchise tag him. I think that's what would be a best case scenario for both sides here. But if the Jets, like I said, are 2-6, not playing very well, season's going off the rails, then yeah, they're going to look to trade guys. That happened, a few years ago. Well, more than a few years ago now, but 2019 and 2020, they were obviously not very good and they were flipping guys in season. They traded Leonard Williams in 2019. And then in 2020, they sold, or traded a bunch of different guys in a selling process with McClendon was a guy. And there were others too that I just can't think of off the top of my head right now. But point being, a couple things have to happen before we get to, Jets are trading Breece Hall. And that's coming from someone like me who I would consider myself a pretty big Breece Hall guy, saying that. I think I'm higher on him than the consensus, which is fine. If you're lower on him, he's coming off a down year. I get it. I'm not going to argue with you on it, but logically speaking, if the Jets are out of it, then yeah, they're probably going to be sellers. And who's their best trade asset? Someone on an expiring contract. Breece Hall's on an expiring contract. He would probably get you the most in a trade of anyone that you're looking to deal. Like, yeah, you have Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams and Garrett Wilson, but we're not talking about that. Those guys are on long-term extensions. At least Quinnen is, and you're hoping, and most likely, in my opinion, both those guys will be signed to deals. So who are you trading? Breece Hall, maybe John Simpson, Elijah Vera Tucker, guys like that. But I would put that a little bit lower on the totem pole of what would be appealing to teams. I think a Breece to a contender is worth something. If they don't have a great running back room and are looking to put themselves over the top, yeah, someone might be interested in Breece Hall. But I don't think it means that it's a guarantee that once we get to the deadline, Breece Hall's a goner. That's not how I view this, but that's how it seemed like the reaction was yesterday. So I wanted to add a little bit more to the conversation because I don't think it's so simple as Jets bad, Jets trade Breece Hall. Well, a few things have to, again, I'm repeating myself, but there's a few more steps before we get to a Breece Hall trade for the New York Jets. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I'm Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you next time.